And welcome back. This is a new one. We haven't done something like this before. We had an amazing intro, show off of an amazing game that's coming out here locally in Australia. My name is Dylan, one of the co-founders of Indiverse.io, the world's first and only open marketplace for indie tabletop games. We'll have a link in the description for you to check that out. And I have with us, me, today, we'll figure it out in the post, it's fine. Isle of Feathers, which is the other side, not this side. Juno, Daniel, creators of this amazing game. How are you today?
Good, thank you. How are you?
It's been great. It's nice, kind of warm here in Melbourne today, but look, we make do. That's what Melbourne's about. It's about having 7 or 8 different seasons in a day, depending on on the day. So we're here today to have a chat about their brand new game, Isle of Feathers. It's been crowdfunding for just over 2 weeks now. We've got 10 days left, maybe just a little more. Yeah.
Actually, we've got 14 days.
14, even better.
Yeah.
So still 2 weeks for people to jump on board.
Yep, plenty of time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we caught up. Oh man, we've been in contact and known about you guys since probably early 2025 with at least the first game with Isle of Feathers, maybe even last year. It's so hard to keep track. And they've been.
I think So I think we first chatted to you guys maybe even a year before that.
Could be.
Would have been on TTCons, I reckon.
Yeah, which is the great convention done up in Queensland, up in, I say near Brisbane, but that's not it. It's even further north than that.
Yeah.
Fabulous event. There's so many great creators there. So if you're a Queensland local or an Australian local and want to check out some great indie tabletop games, check out TTCon, Tabletop Con. Great event. We'll be there next year as well with bells on, maybe some whistles too if we're feeling like it. But let's dive in and start talking about Isle of Feathers. I'll get it right at some point. So Isle of Feathers. Currently, like when I last saw it, it was like 400 and something % funded, which I mean, massive congratulations on that part. So huge. Let's look at the game. So how do you attribute to like the success that you guys have found with the creating something like this?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah. I mean, one thing is just we've had wonderful amount of support from the local community and the local tabletop scene. The Isle of Feathers is our first crowdfunding campaign and our first published tabletop game, and it's been wonderful. Just that the board game scene has said hello and has came to chat to us, two strange people, and saying, "How do we make a game?"
Because we started showing this game, I think, in its infancy. Like we brought it over as a prototype, I think, to one of the first board game barbecue events, maybe. Well, not but like our first board game barbecue.
That was
I think
probably
3 to 4 years ago. And since then, we've been surrounded by very lovely, very generous people who have played our prototype, who've given us free advice, have been incredibly generous with their time. And I think because of all of that, that sort of helped us get to the point that we're at now. It's because of these guys who've been just so lovely.
Such a wonderfully supportive scene, full of just genuinely lovely people as well. That enthusiasm is infectious,
It's been really lovely. I think it's because of those guys that we've managed to get our game out, and we've developed it to the point that we're at now.
Isle of Feathers is just Juno and I, but we could never have done it alone,
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to playtesting and that, like, there's so much that goes into like getting the right mix of everything that you want to put out when like, making a game. But let's cycle back, I guess. So tell us a bit about the game, Isle of Feathers. What's it about?
Well,
it's probably a lot of things.
What's it not about?
Exactly. Well, I can do the spiel, as it were. Isle of Feathers is a competitive tile-laying game about building an island together out of wooden tiles, then filling it with different species of bird. However, every bird in the game is different, and you're all building in the same space. So you've got to jostle for position, build off each other's moves, and adapt to the changing island to get your birds on the table before the tiles run out. And every time, when the last sand tile's placed, game's over, and every bird you add scores you points, and every time that you make up a bird, let me wind that back. Every time you introduce a bird to the island, you make up a fun fact about the species and deliver it to the table like you David Attenborough. So it's got an icebreaker element as well.
You can tell we just went to PAX Head.
It's crisp, refined. Yeah, that's great.
You've got it.
I think that the thing that I haven't, like I said, I haven't had a chance to play this yet, but I know that Hayden, one of the other co-founders, had a wonderful time playing it at Queensland this year. And he did enjoy the creative aspect that comes to it, because you don't get that a lot in like your standard tabletop games. And with stuff like birds, there's always like it's a well loved species of animal. There are plenty of bird lovers out there. Bird watching is a apparently amazingly popular pastime hobby. I'm not even sure what you classify it as. So I think you really nail that like cutesy animal feel of like the cat and dog sort of vibe of like that homely pet, as well as something a bit more exotic. So I think that's just in theming alone, I think you've got something really, really special there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for us, it's kind of important because, like, we live in Queensland. We've got no shortage of very interesting wildlife, and then Daniel especially grew up with a lot of birds. Like, he grew up with like him and his family feed the birds in their backyard, so he's grown up seeing generations of magpies and like magpie larks and cockatoos. And then your uncle, and then his uncle is also a wildlife photographer specifically with birds.
He specialises in Australian natives, so I've got this wonderful exposure to the birds in our local area.
So I think something that we really sought to sort of capture was that birds, they're very cute. They're also just really weird, really odd. The variety of between species of birds is insane. And that's hopefully something that we have sort of captured in our game.
Delightful creatures.
Yeah. I think they bring a personality, much like cats and dogs do as well. And even if you have the same species, they still have their own little flair here and there, because they do. Even though together they have their own little spice for life, which is it's good. Very cool.
Makes great character and personality.
Absolutely. So who's this aimed at? Are we looking like family game, kids, young adults? Is it a very mature game? Probably not that one, but yeah. But where do we see it sitting?
So the game's all ages accessible. We describe it as like Gateway Plus in terms of complexity. So it's accessible gameplay wise. It doesn't have any themes that would make it inappropriate for a family group at all.
So we've said it's from 8 years and up. The only thing that kind of limits the game really is just that meeples are very delicious to feed to toddlers. And also because there is a little bit of reading involved, because we do have the full names of different birds on each card. So you do need to be able to sort of access that. But besides that, we've played it with the 6-year-olds who've absolutely thrashed us, and we try not to talk about that. We've played it with people of all backgrounds, all ages.
We wanted to be as accessible as we could from the ground up, and the way we designed it, you can also play the game with a shared hand quite effectively. So people who are younger than that again would be a bit more hesitant about joining game experience can kind of play with a friend, and that works quite
we've played games like that very well.
So no, accessibility is important, like the color blindness considerations as well in games design.
They're really big things. I think I've always found that with like a couple of like the color like hues and cues, that's always like one of those difficult ones to bring out. It doesn't always work well, just those little things there. But I mean, at least with the birds, you have such a strong visual representation and a name as well. So you've got something that even if that's not something that someone's able to overcome with that sort of like color blindness, you've still got so many artifacts there to make it easy for someone to access. And I love the idea of having a paired experience. It's something that I've seen in like a lot of games, whether they're like trying to bring someone into a more complex game or just encouraging people to play with young kids, or bring like the family together, like mum and dad with a kid, like a child each, and they're each playing like a hand in a game. Like it's such a good opening and inviting environment, and kudos to it, because like it's not something that you see people take a lot as like a first priority when it comes to like a game. Sometimes it feels like it's bolted on, but it feels like you guys have put a lot of effort into like trying to make that accessibility through the game, which is amazing, absolutely amazing.
It was very much a focus for us. So talking about color specifically, like we made sure that no element in our gameplay requires color differentiation at all. However, with our meeples, all of them are different. We read a bunch of papers, and so all of our meeples are differentiable by all of the primary forms of color blindness, including the niche 2 cones plugged in backwards variant. Color accessibility is super important.
We've tried our best to make sure that as many people can sort of enjoy our game and can get something out of it as possible.
Exactly.
That's the dream, isn't it? That's the dream, having something that everyone can play. Oh, awesome. So what's the dream for, I guess, you guys as like beyond Isle of Feathers? Are you guys planning or got your next game already like riddled away in the back of your brain? What's the plan there?
That's a good question. We've got some game ideas. We know that because we're still at the end of our campaign, we're very keen to sort of see. Yeah, we've got some really cool aims for the end of our campaign. I think we've got like some sort of like cosmetic updates that we can do to the game itself. And then, but in terms of future games, I'm not entirely sure. I think we definitely want to make a new one. I think it's probably just a matter of, I guess, giving Isle of Feathers its time in the sun. And then
I think we'll know what the direct path is, because with the moment the campaign wraps, we're rolling straight into fulfillment and distribution. So then once we've completed the whole cycle and the boxes are at people's door, we can look back and work out what the next path is.
And also because we're in fulfillment, it's quite interesting. We're sort of learning. The whole thing's been a really phenomenal learning experience, but I bet. Shipping and fulfillment in particular is quite interesting because we've had some discussions already about like tariffed sort of materials and that sort of stuff, which is a whole sort of its own little discussion thing. But that could inform what our next game looks like, because Isle of Feathers it's not a super giant game, but it certainly has posed certain issues in terms of getting it shipped or getting into certain people's hands. So who knows? We were like, oh, what if we just do a card game next time? But like we've got some ideas.
Prioritize some different areas we want to explore. Who knows? Maybe we'll do a TTRPG sometime as well.
A lot of different games we love to play or love to hear about, love to like hear other people sort of talking about. So no, I think there's a whole plethora of ideas out there. So it's just a matter of us picking one and then going with it, I think.
Very fair, very fair. I actually want to ask, because I meant to ask this, I think when we caught up at PAX, but what games do you think that you drew inspiration from for Isle of Feathers? This is always a tricky one.
Well, this for us actually is, we can pinpoint it to 2 games. So we've got, I know. Long story short, we've got 2 friends who used to live up in Bundaberg, which is about 4 hours north of Brisbane. And while we were there, so they're really big board game fans. They're also scientists as well. And they in particular really love bird life. So with them, we played Wingspan for the first time. And then the next day we went out to, some sort of like farm to table sort of cafe situation. And they had a giant Jenga game that we spent probably a good hour playing. And it's not just that our inspiration was only those 2 games, but the 2 of them, we went, what if you just like mash them together? Like we were really drawn to the idea of like Wingspan sort of like phenomenal illustration and the sort of resource management aspect. Yeah, it's stunning.
Plus the tactile island building, but the building element of Jenga. As a side note, I had something up me as well. Bundaberg is completely flat as a town. The whole town is completely flat and has a single small hill in the center.
Fun fact for everybody.
It looks like being in Google Maps in real life, which is quite surreal. So I think those elements combined together to building a little island and filling it with birds.
We always wanted the idea of doing a spatial game, but I think those 2 games, we kind of went back to Brisbane and we were like, oh, hang on, okay, tiles. Building a single thing all together. That sort of helped get the ball rolling for us.
I can actually throw in 2 other references for different aspects of the project as well. Machikoro is a big inspiration. It's minimalist city builder, card based. Not gameplay reference, but for tactility. There's a beautiful level of component quality and satisfying coins that clink when you pick them up. And the other reference would be Forests of Pangaea, which is a Kickstarter game with beautiful, like hand-turned wooden trees. It's a game about building a hex island. Different mechanics completely, but that level of care and tactility in the components was super inspiring for the 2 of us.
Actually, that's also because we've got a copy. And the first time I played it, because you have these little trees that are like wooden little components, and you stack little bits of to make a fully fledged tree.
Trees get taller. It's very clever.
I remember when we, in particular, looking at their Kickstarter and seeing how they seeing their process, the reasoning behind why they chose components, that really stood out to us. So
Wow.
Super inspiring stuff.
It's such a different answer because it's such a physical part of the game, like having stacking and not just like, it's not just about the mechanics of like what the cards represent or the tiles represent, that you had to take so many more steps to get to that like refined state you're at. I had never even thought of that until you guys just sort of like walk me through that process now. I need to have a couple of other games that we saw at Tabletop Con as well, like other games that are sort of following that inspiration of like the tactile building as well as having mechanics around. I'm looking at them a whole nother light now. Wow. That's inspiring.
We love that board games.
Yeah, that's absurd. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go and like reevaluate everything I thought about like those games, and it's not like I had a negative thought to them, but it's Thank you so much. That's insane.
We're here all day.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hopefully not, because the people at the Kickstarter might not appreciate a 24-hour one, but hey, you never know. We'll be back. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this one, guys. It's been a pleasure. So, 14 days left. The Kickstarter is live. We will have, well, hopefully you're watching this on the Kickstarter page. If not, we will have links down below for them. But if people are trying to follow you, find out what you guys are up to, where can they find you?
Yes. So you can go straight to the Kickstarter. It's called Isle of Feathers, a love letter to strange birds. You can look that straight up. We're also on Blue Sky at Magpie Business, and we're on Instagram at Isle of Feathers Game. So yeah, you can. We've got a website as well, but yeah, Instagram or Kickstarter directly is the best places to come and say hello.
Absolutely. And if you can't tell from just the 10-20 minutes we've had now, they are lovely. Lovely people, good to have a chat with. So yeah, if you want to give feedback for the game, ask some questions, please feel free, shoot it through. Absolutely lovely people. From our side, you can find us, Indiverse. Again, we are the world's first and only open tabletop marketplace for indie games. After the Kickstarter crowdfunding phase, we're hoping that we'll have Isle of Feathers on there at some point, but it's not confirmed yet, but we'll see you there. I'm kidding, you guys love
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye out. We've got a lot of other content coming out. We will definitely have you guys back on for a full-length interview like we've been doing for a little while now and across the Indiverse.
We would love that.
Yeah, because there's plenty more questions I have for you guys, and there's a lot of stuff that people can learn from the experience you guys have had through Kickstarter, crowdfunding, and the creation process that we want to pass on to other independent creators. So I have been Dylan. This has been Daniel and Juno. Lovely again to see you guys. It's so good to chat as always. And
thank you for having us.
Thank you for having
no
us.
worries. Check out the Kickstarter. Back it. It's a fantastic looking game, even if you're just getting it for the birds, because gorgeous. And we'll see you in the universe. Catch you later.